Hello and welcome to our Street View episode for February 2020. Not only do we have the Toronto real estate market all sorted out, but we have some awesome details about the Toronto subway expansion. I'm talking about the Ontario line, and we're going to get into the details of that and what it can mean for Toronto's East End. And of course, we've got the home show happening. It's VIP ReMax experience. So come on, let's jump in and get those details. With the election of the provincial Conservative government in November 2018, they were very quick to announce the Ontario subway line for Toronto's East End. And if you're unfamiliar with the details, let me give you the Coles notes. This map will illustrate how it starts at Ontario Science Centre at Don Mills in Eglinton, connecting with the new Eglinton LRT. That's a great hub of development that's happening there. And then it's going to continue south right down to Pape Danforth, and then on down to essentially Eastern Avenue, thread its way through the Corktown district and what's going to become East Bayfront. And that's where the Sidewalk Labs and Smart City and all of those things are happening. And then it's going to come up and it's going to connect with the Yonge line at Queen and then right through to Exhibition Grounds. There are 15 stations in total, and it combines both above ground and below ground operations. And the map will illustrate the pink lines are underground, blue lines are above ground. And they're actually going to piggyback on some existing train lines as it goes through the South Riverdale neighborhood and into Leslieville, Riverside. And that's where the public consultation that the town hall we attended last week, and you can see some of the images here, it was a very well attended event. It was packed, and there were representatives from Metrolinx, who's the governing body for transit solutions in all of Ontario, and as well as some of the consulting engineers that are involved with the design and implementation. The type of vehicle that they're proposing is based on what's been successful in other cities. So they say, hey, the Ontario line will deliver fast, more frequent service by using modern technology adopted by subway systems around the world. They expect the line to feature light automated trains like the ones used in Vancouver, if you've ever taken the SkyTrain there, London or Paris or Singapore. These trains are going to travel with 90-second intervals. So they're expecting the average commute times relative to the East End and getting downtown are going to be cut in half. And if you are a frequent subway rider, you understand the capacity issues and the repairs and all those sorts of things that we're struggling with our existing subway lines. We need more subways. The concern for the residents, of course, is noise, vibration, and health, because the initial vehicle selection looks like it could be diesel, not electrified, just like what the up train is from Union Station up to Pearson Airport. So there's still public consultation happening, and I think it's important for us to talk about the community group that is lobbying the government to have their say in how this is designed, developed, and implemented in 2023 to 2027. So it's happening soon. And so I just want to give a plug to the East End Transit Alliance. Is an organization of residents that are lobbying the government to have a say in how this is going to impact our neighborhoods. And I think this is relevant. I think we should all join the conversation, have our say, have our input as this vital infrastructure component is added to our city. There's no question that we need it. It's just a question of how well integrated it is into our city and how it impacts our neighborhoods. And it's that time of year again when we get the ReMax VIP home show tickets happening March 13th to the 22nd. And this is one of the items that Madeline and I love to give away to our current and past clients. And we have the added bonus this year that you can get them in an electronic format, carry them on your favorite smartphone device, and still have access to all the VIP perks of a coat check, front of the line access to the Dream Home, and access to the Canada Bloom Show. So hey, reach out to us soon and get your tickets today. We may be into a brand new year of 2020, but the recipe that applies to the Toronto real estate market never changes. And so when it comes to the supply of that equation, it's all about the new listings. And for the month of January, and you can see we have a brand new chart. The Toronto Real Estate Board did a complete makeover for this year. So we've got new colors. And so we want to look at the month of January. And there is an orange bar that represents how January of this year compares to the 3 prior years. And we can see that the number of new listings is down 17%. And when you look at that little section of the bar graph there, we can see in 2017, it was also low number of new listings. And 2017 was that benchmark year, and that'll become a little more relevant as we go through our slides. The other thing I would say is that the active number of listings, meaning the total number of listings that are on the market, right? We have new listings that come on every month, we have listings that sell, and then you have the balance, which is the active number of listings. That's down 35% when we look at a year-over-year basis. But when we compare it to last month, it's actually not down that much. So, in the year over year, it sounds like a big number, but in terms of how we finished last year and coming into this year, yeah, the low inventory part of the story has remained the same. When it comes to sales, we're looking at a year over year improvement of 15.4%. Which, once again, we can see over on that far right, we can see how, yes, the January was above the 2 preceding years, but when we see that 2017 year, look at how much higher that was. So we're not quite at the same pace as 2017, which was kind of like on the verge of a correction. So I don't think we're quite there in that regard, but still, when we look at trending from December through to January, the number of sales are up only about 4.2%. So, and when you think about the holidays and so on and so forth, it's kind of interesting, right? There's both 31 days in both of those months, but because of the holidays, typically December is a little bit lower with inventory. And I think with January, there's a lot of enthusiasm. There are multiple offers and bidding wars that you might hear about in the media. Yes, all of that stuff's going on. It's a very solid market. And that'll translate to price that we'll get to in a minute. But what we look at is that, once again, that standing inventory. How many homes are currently out on the market? It's about 7,500. And what does that translate into? We look at months of inventory. If a new house if no further houses came to market, we would sell everything that's on the market in about 1.7 months. So like about 7 weeks. And that's pretty tight for Toronto, and that means it's a seller's market. I mean, that's obvious, but that's how we kind of look at it. And so that story will continue through the winter months until we get some more listings coming up. And so yes, price is up 12.3%. Low inventory, lots of demand. Of course, price is going to go up. 12.3% on a year-over-year basis sounds like a huge number, double-digit growth in price. However, when we compare average price in December through to January, there was only a $2,000 increase, up to $839,000 for an average home in the Greater Toronto Area. So not a big shift from December through to January, but on a year-over-year basis, this is the accumulative growth that we've been seeing all year long. And it does illustrate we are headed for strong price growth in 2020. It's going to be a very solid year. Is it going to surpass 2017? I've been saying I don't think so, but we'll see, because affordability is kind of capped out, how much money the banks will lend you. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays. But if you were someone thinking about downsizing and you wanted to get that benchmark price that you missed out on 2 years ago, this might be this will be the spring market to do that. If you are thinking about selling your home and making the shift outside of the city, also a great time, great market, very solid to accomplish that goal. For folks that are first-time buyers and or move-up buyers, the move-up buy is going to be easier because you'll find what you want, and then selling your property should be an assurity, not the funky market where people bought something and then got in a declining market and couldn't get their house sold for what they needed. Yeah, that's a different story. But this is a safe market for the move-up buy. Lastly, the first-time home buyer, yeah, it's a struggle for sure. Perseverance and being nimble are the key elements to succeeding in this market. And we can illustrate that for you, how to be uber prepared, and then the strategies to be nimble to jump on the right opportunity. And we've certainly got a lot of past clients that can talk to that point. And it's a strategy that works very, very well. In good quality real estate doesn't last on the market very long. And sellers want good buyers. So how do you become a good buyer? Be prepared. How do you jump on an opportunity? You have to be nimble. So that's my pep talk for people that are contemplating a real estate move in 2020. So now let's talk very quickly about our combination chart that we love to look at. And in specifics, you can see the way this chart works is we have the number of sales over on the left and then average price on the right. It's split into the 416, the 905, and then a total. I know it's a lot of information, but it's also focusing on what's happening in the given month and then the year-over-year change as a percentage. So I look at the percentage changes over on the far left for you, and I look at sales have gone up 20.8% for detached homes in the 416, and the 905 they went up 23.9% on a year-over-year basis. So detached homes are moving. And so what's happening with their respective price, we can see that we slide over and we can see that detached homes in the 416 are showing a 16.7% increase year over year. So detached homes are experiencing that bump they've been waiting for on a year over year basis. And in the 905, it's 8.7%. And so the 905 is, it's that ripple effect, right? Toronto starts to heat up, and then that activity kind of ripples out into the Durham area, into Richmond Hill, Aurora, Vaughan, out into Mississauga. It just ripples outwards from the city because people can't afford here and they go to the surrounding areas. And it's been a long time for 905. It's been a tough 2 years for the recovery for them, but I think this is the season where it's going to turn the corner for them. So then the other thing I would point out is in the 416, we can see the top performer in condo was in the 416 at 15% year-over-year growth. In the 905, it was 14.3. And I would temper all of those numbers once again. This is just the year-long cycle. It's not like all of a sudden they went up 15% overnight. No, this has been 12 months of the market slowly improving over time. So, don't let that be discouraging. Because you may say, I wish I had taken action last year and gotten in before the market had climbed some more. The rear view always looks that way, but the very next best time to jump in is right now. Because a year from now, we'll be having a similar conversation and you'll be saying, I wish I had taken action on something. And for those of you that are unsure what you would like to do, I would offer you this. Do nothing. This is a very solid market. You don't need to feel pressured to do anything if a move is not the right thing for you. I like to advocate that figuring out the market is a great way of navigating the process. It creates confidence, clarity, all of those things. And with that, I just want to give a plug to anyone that is contemplating a move. You know how to reach out to us. We would love to talk to you about how to succeed with your real estate ambitions. I'm Matt Emerson of ReMax Hallmark Emerson Group Realty. I'll speak to you again next month. Bye for now.